What if the secret to success wasn't just talent or hard work, but unshakable confidence? Welcome to Grasp Confidence, the podcast where visionary thought leaders, speakers, and entrepreneurs unlock the mindset and strategies for lasting success. I'm your host, Tara LaFon Gooch, CEO, two-time best-selling author, and international TEDx speaker, and I can't wait to help you step into the most powerful version of yourself. Let's dive in. Today's guest, Dr. Hamad Shirazi, chiropractor, educator, and wellness leader dedicated to helping people move, live, and lead with intention. I met Dr. Shirazi in Belize on a private island, and what stuck with me immediately was his grounded presence and passion for holistic health. From chiropractic care to fitness and empowerment, this conversation is about aligning the body, the mind, and the purpose. Hello, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, Tara, thank you so much for the great introduction. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you.
Absolutely. I mean, how many people can I say? I met you on a private island in Belize.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny introduction. I'm gonna be like, people are gonna be like, oh my God, these guys are living the life.
I know, right? I love it. But it's true. We met at a retreat resort in Belize. And, I just loved your demeanor, your passion. I always like to say to people that when a giver meets a giver, it's like the energy is just amplified. And I immediately got that vibe off of you that you were here to add a lot of value and really transform people. So kudos to you. And I'm really glad that we met there.
Thank you. Yeah, and the feeling is mutual. Our group there was so incredible, and you're one of the people that I was like, I wish I could, spend more time getting to know them. There were so many people on our group like that. So it was a great challenge to have where it's like you have so many interesting, fascinating people, and you don't even have enough time to spend. So I'm grateful that we can at least catch up here a little bit more.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And your work it's really empowering. I like the fact that you bring in this whole person approach to what you're doing. That it's not just about one part of a person, but it's that whole person care. It's the overall success, whether it's health and wellness, whether it's alignment physically, right? Or whether it's alignment with your purpose. And you kind of bring that interesting, turn to all of those intersections, if you will. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, I think it's really important for us to, come back to center and our roots. Essentially, even what was coming to mind as you're sharing that is as simple as when we look at life and consciousness. We begin, on our own. The soul comes into this world on our own, and then we leave on our own. So the most important place to have peace is within our own mind and our mindset, our perspective in life. So I think you really can't separate. I think that's what life has taken us to this path where we're breaking everything down, which has its value. But I see health, healing, and living a more integrated life is through unification of oneself, but also unity amongst each other and all of life.
Mm, that's definitely something that I'm aligned with, right? How did you get into this work? I guess we should start there, right? What's the backstory? Why is this important to you?
Well, the backstory is, the youngest son of an immigrant family. My father's a cardiologist. I have, I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, or in Dunwoody, north of Atlanta. And naturally, as a boy, I felt like the world was my oyster. I was raised in an environment where it's like, hey, if you're a good person, you're good with God, you invest in your knowledge and do all your work, then you can accomplish anything you want. And so I was very naturally ambitious, a natural leader, very fiery and passionate. And with that energy, I gravitated towards athletics. And I think my passion for athletics, school and work was like, I just got to get that stuff done so I can play, but I naturally excel. And I had this fervor since I was young and just being the best I can be.
I love that. Maybe it's a quality of being the youngest because I'm the youngest of 5, and I feel like I'm very ambitious, right? I don't know why it's like independence, right? You
Yes.
just wanna change the world in your own way and kinda live to the beat of your own drum, I guess, right?
Yeah, and there's commonalities, and every family dynamic is different, but I guess we also start with our back against the wall in a lot of sense because it's like we got all these people who are speaking more, who are ahead of us. So we're playing catching. And I know that my mom would tell me, I went to preschool when I was about 2. I saw my eldest sibling, he's 14 years older than me. So we had like even an age gap within our siblings. So I saw everyone else like going to school or work, and I'm like, I'm ready. And then,
Mhm.
like, so I was always ready to just, I guess, fall in the footsteps of my siblings or whatever. My dad's going to work, everyone's doing stuff. So I'm like, hey, I got to go to work too.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, that sounds so similar, right? It's funny, I never quite thought about it, but it just seems like every youngest that I've met has a similar story, right?
Yeah.
And, that's just fun. Yeah, my oldest sister, she's almost 18 years older than I am. A huge gap, right? It's kind of funny, and I have her and then 3 brothers. So she was pretty much out of the house when I was a kid, right? And almost like an aunt at that point. And then my older brothers, they lived, with me. So I was the youngest with 3 older brothers.
Well, okay. So y'all were like sandwich stuff. So the girls, like the eldest sister,
Yes.
youngest, and then 3
Yeah.
boys. And yeah, we had a boy, my sister, brother, and then me. So it's 3 boys and a girl in total.
Poor girl. Oh, I know you don't feel sorry for your sister, but I do. No, it's just I love that. Well, that's really fascinating. So growing up in the Atlanta area, this, big beautiful family. Sounds like you guys were, rich in your culture as well, right?
Mhm.
What what about health and wellness and, chiropractic care? How did that turn into like a passion for you in a way that you said, I feel like this is what I want to do and this is how I want to help people?
Well, chiropractic, I think, was the last piece, and it was interesting. Um, like I mentioned, it was great at school. 4.0 student. I had a passion more for athletics. Basketball was my favorite sport, and then I got into weight training at a young age. And for me, it's like, okay, like I was saying, best I can be. So it's like super go hard. It's not being passive. I naturally was very competitive and just want to be the best. I've had that, and I've matured and balanced a lot more as I age over the years. But that desire got me into a little bit of trouble to where I had chronic pain. So I had chronic pain in like my chest wall area, probably from just doing too much. I was playing basketball, playing a little football, tennis, golf, lifting weights without the understanding of the whole and understanding alignment, posture, balance, breathing. Essentially, I had become the practitioner that I needed in all of my adversity. Not more like health challenges, injuries, and different elements. So for me, my life has been quite congruent as far as my personal and professional endeavors, where I still to this day want to be the best athlete I can be and also to be the best doctor and practitioner I can be. And I think a lot of times our pain and our story leads to our purpose.
100%. Oh my gosh, I love that. What a way to cap that story off, right? Our story, our pain, sometimes we get through adversities. It's not ever fun in the moment, right? I'm never going to say, "Oh, it just love that adversity in the moment," because it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say that, but let's be realistic as well, right?
Yeah.
It's not fun in the moment. But when you look back and reflect, and there's so many adversities and challenges that I've had and perceived failures that I am so grateful for because they made me who I am today. And without those challenges, would I really be able to have a conversation like this? Would I really be able to help people on the level that I'm helping people? I don't think the answer is going to be yes. I mean, all of those stories were there for a reason, and they're all for our benefit in some kind of way, right?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Share that same sentiment. It's amazing now because I almost feel for a long time I've been ready for massive success and all of it. But I had to go through so many elements of healing through pain and suffering, and even maybe feeling alone and misunderstood for me to get to the place where we met in Belize. You're introducing me, and you're commenting and acknowledging my energy. But let's say if I didn't have all that adversity, I don't know that I would have the character, and I still have so much room for growth. But a lot of that has humbled me. A lot of my challenging times has opened my mind, and it's really allowed me to step into a greater understanding of life. And really, it's about service, living the best lives we are able to, and then serving others. And that's, I think, the most fulfilling path.
Absolutely. We're so aligned there because we don't get fulfillment and purpose through consumption of things, right? We get it by giving to others, and giving can look different for whatever scenario or person. It doesn't always have to be money.
Yeah.
It could be giving of time, resources, giving of value. One of the things that you did at the retreat as well, and nobody asked you to do this, right? Again, I pay attention to these things from afar. I'm just paying attention, absorbing. But you offered to give everybody, free adjustments, help them if they had any questions, right? And I love that approach and that giving nature, because I really do believe that when we give, it's amplified. It creates those ripple effects. And we never know who's watching and who it could inspire to create their own ripple effect in this world, right?
So I'm going to share a little personal story, and I think you can relate to this being the youngest. I was a little bit, witty and strong-minded. I would say no. So I was good with boundaries most of my life. I was not as giving or perceived that way. A lot of times people are like, "You're the youngest. Oh, so you're so spoiled." And I do feel like a lot of people help me out. And I'm just so grateful now that I have found the gift of service that I truly enjoy. And it's how I show up for people. Like I may not be the best person to show up in other ways, but now I found how I really like to give and what I think adds value. And I love it. So that's how, it comes naturally for me. And it's a love language in a way. I love like acts of service being given to me or returning the favor. So that's why like it was so natural. And I love beginning even connections and relationships through service and giving because I feel like you're setting the precedence for a healthy connection and relationship.
It's my love language too. I love it, right? It's funny. I always joke with my daughter. She's only 10, but I did show her those, right? The different love languages. And
Yeah.
she said, "Well, I'm all of them." And I said, "Go, girl."
Yeah.
Right? But mine is definitely acts of service and giving as well. It's so beautiful to open up that channel of just reciprocity and giving to somebody else, right? And again, we never know the ripple effect that it can have
Yeah.
with the person receiving it, with yourself, or with somebody watching it who's a bystander. So this is so amazing. I want to dive into a little bit of the work that you're doing now and how you're helping people as well. Can you walk us through how you help people? I know you're a coach, and you do retreats as well. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about your work and how you're helping people today.
Yeah, and we were speaking before we got into the conversation how we both like to do all the things. So I have a very, limitless mindset. I'm writing a book, creating content. I'm looking to see how to add value and show support, globally without me always just doing one-on-one. So that's where the retreats, the workshops, and the education all comes in. But personally, let's just say, we didn't get to work together. But let's say you and I were meeting and or whenever that does happen. we start with a consultation. So it's all about settling in with a heart-centered connection. I'm I'm taking someone in. I'm listening verbally and non-verbally, and just attuning our system. I think the whole time with someone, it's a nervous system co-regulation. And I definitely show up on the energetic field, but I'm very objective and practical, and I simplify wellness as well. So we would start with consultation so we get on the same page. I really value meeting people where they're at, and that's why even with chiropractic, there's an art to it. So, matching each other's energy, understanding what the person's pain or what their goal is. From there, we'll go into like the basics. So, breathing, how their posture is, how they're holding themselves in their body, how they may move or walk. And then I also take note of mobility and flexibility. And if we have time, depending on the individual, it's all catered towards what they need, but maybe even some strength or some balance testing, because I'm all about embodiment and becoming healthy and strong and living your best life. And then we go through the chiropractic evaluation as well, and then provide adjustments. So we do the chiropractic care with the holistic health education, and with that comes the coaching after. So I think what's unique about the way that I practice is I merge chiropractic care with some elements of physical therapy and strength and conditioning all in one, and I'm the one who is evaluating. So it's not like you're going to a chiropractor, then you're going to a physical therapist, then you're going to a trainer. I'm helping to get straight to the root cause and educate people on, so they're more clear on their bodies, what their bodies need, like what muscles should be stretched and what should be strengthened. And I think there's a lot of confusion, and that's what I'm really advocating for in a way that I can help support people is by providing more clear and simple information so that they are more empowered.
Wow, I mean, that sounds like the whole package. I love it, right? What are some of the typical things that people, when they first meet you or come into your practice or they're interested in working with you, what are some problems they're generally facing or, symptoms or something like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I work in a few different demographics. And I work as an independent contractor in the chiropractic offices, and then I also have my own independent business as well. So I would say across the board, the most common aches, right? Some sort of neck pain or strain, low back pain. It could be knee pain. There's very common elements, shoulder pain, uh, I mean, you name it across the board, but obviously the most common would be neck and back pain. And
Mhm.
for me, the pain is giving us direction into what we need to pay attention to more. So when I was younger, when I was in my pain journey, I did have a little bit of victim consciousness, and it's like, why is this happening to me? Like,
Right.
that whole feeling is bad. Eventually, I realized that no, the pain, and I learned this from one of my mentors, Paul Che, called the pain teacher. So the pain teacher shows up to show us where we're out of balance. And really, it's our ally, it can be looked at as our greatest ally because it's guiding us to being more whole and integrated.
Holy cow, the pain teacher, right? It's obviously a physical thing, right? But it's also, again, going back to our stories back to adversities that we've had. What is that pain teacher? I love the way you phrase that. It's so simple, right?
Mhm.
But what if we could look at everything as a signal,
Yeah.
right? As a teacher, and instead of a sentence, whether it's physical pain or otherwise, right? What do you think about that?
That's the way that I view life. And it's taken a lot of time and work. And for me, I'm really prioritize letting people have their own journey. So I'm not wanting to impose ideas. So I've invested a lot into communicating, into being a great teacher and coach and guide towards I'm giving people the space to go through their own path, but I'm sharing information that I think would support them in elevating consciousness. And the more and more clear I get is I meet people in the body because this is the vessel. But I really, my biggest goal is elevating consciousness in humanity and all of life so that we all co-creatively make this world a better place. And just having that ripple effect, like you said, because let's say if you say that something that really inspires someone that it's a butterfly effect and the ripple effect. And that's how I like to show up.
I love that. If we can all do that, which we can, right?
Mhm.
The world would be such a better place. And um it doesn't take a lot of effort, but it does take a lot of intention. It takes
Yeah.
a lot of integrity. It takes a lot of willingness to give value and transfer knowledge. It
Mhm.
takes a lot of, um, the willing to be a participant in this society and in this collective and really bring it up and raise it up in your own individual way, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, again, I like your work so much is because it also aligns that personal purpose and um, it's apparent in the way you talk and your passion for what you do. So I think that's amazing. What would you say is your one big thing that you want to tell people that could help them and change their lives? Maybe it's something that you've seen repeatedly in your career from clients or people that you've worked with. Or maybe it's just a broader mission of what's that one thing that you could tell somebody that could really help them to get their life changed and get out of a pattern of some kind and really progress.
That's a great question. And I'll just go with what's coming to mind because I'm sure it would change. I don't like boxes because it's like I don't want to be held to this because tomorrow I may say something else. But I think even earlier today, I was reflecting on what I find a lot of times is, and people who are in pain or who are suffering, at the same token, they think or they present in a way where it's like they are right about whatever it is that they believe. And I think, and if people can just zoom out and be like, the level of consciousness has gotten me to in this place where I am in pain. So I may not know everything that I need to know. So to just be a little bit more humble, to be a little bit more inquisitive, tap into that childlike mind, and have more harmony there to where it's, you know, if we were perfect, we wouldn't be here. So there's always something to learn. And what's interesting is like people will show up, right? Whether you believe in manifestation, consciousness, law of attraction, I think that every single soul I interact with, I have something to share with them and they have something to share with me. There are no accidents. So I will literally, I think it's gotten a lot better, but I've had a lot of clients where it's like they show up, they have a pain, they have something. I know exactly how to support them, but there's this sense of resistance because of that inability to surrender and to
Mm.
trust and to be trusting of themselves. So I know I went around a little bit, but I would say is just to, you know, create a little bit of space between our beliefs and the knowledge that, we're here to receive and practice it in the moment because hindsight is 2020 and a lot of times people later on you reflect and you're like I was wrong about that. I didn't have the whole picture. So if we can go about life being a little bit more curious and open-minded, I think it would be very beneficial for us.
Absolutely. I love that. You framed that so well. Doesn't it all start with belief?
Yes, our belief system make us sick or well.
Sick or well.
Yeah.
It's the placebo effect as well, right? And that's something that's always fascinated me, by the way, is the placebo effect. I know everybody's heard of it, but it's so deep when you think about it. The mind can truly heal the body. And it
Yeah.
starts with a belief that it's possible, belief that change is happening for the better. And if you really think about it, I mean, how miraculous is it, right? That our bodies can heal themselves. And that starts with the belief, but the reverse is also true, right? That if we truly believe and we want to hold on to sickness and want to hold on to different things, then we're also going to be right. So you have to really screen your beliefs and take some note of them, don't you? Because it sounds like it can really impact us physically, but also mentally and spiritually.
Yeah. In all the facets. I had done so much of that work myself. Have you heard of pronoia?
No, I've never heard of it.
I used to have this little image too I would share with friends. And as a as a kid, I was like very we used to even joke about it, like worry games. Like I had to be perfect. And
Yes.
one of my nicknames in high school is Mr. Perfect because I had this like belief system where and honestly, I can't even like say it was on my parents or anyone else, like maybe the environment, but I was like, I have to get all A's, I have to do this, I can't get in trouble. Like so I had all these worry games. And it was kind of like paranoid in a lot of ways. And over time, pronoia, it's the belief that the universe is conspiring in your favor as opposed to like the worst thing is going to happen. What if everything is leading you to the best possible outcome? So it's a huge shift in that belief system. And now, after going through enough adversity and experience and really learning from my experiences, that is how I see it. Because eventually you're going to get to that place anyway, right? Everything happens for a reason. But what if we walk through life believing, okay, this is all happening for me? What is this showing me? What is this teaching me? How is this getting me
Yeah.
to become more whole and integrated on the path?
I love pronoia. That's
Yeah.
like, all right, everybody write that down, pronoia, because it's a choice, right? We can choose to be paranoid and concentrate on the negative things, or we can choose to find the good and believe, as I believe, that the universe, that God is on my side, that everything is conspiring to give me what I need and want, right? To be successful, to accomplish the goals that I'm seeking to accomplish, to live the life and purpose that you desire. If we all start believing that everything is conspiring in our favor, wow, you'll start to really see any obstacle that you encounter as something that's for the betterment of yourself. Um, and this happened to me in real life. Back in 2022, I had left my corporate job as a sales director and I decided to step out full time entrepreneurship. I had gotten offered another job in another state. It was a 20% pay increase, something like that, more benefits, yada, yada. It was the safe route, right? But it was in another state. And this is during COVID. So the house prices were crazy. Do you remember that? It
Yeah.
was like
A
nuts.
lot of things were a little
It was,
wacko in that time.
yeah, everything I think was wacko, right? Um, and it was in Nashville, so it was a more expensive city, dot, dot, dot. Anyway, I just kept failing to secure a house in Nashville. Like literally, I would go to sign a contract. The next day they said, well, this just went up $25,000. And I was like, okay, that's too much, right? All of that at the time, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm such a failure. Like, what in the world is happening? I'm so grateful. Holy cow, right? If I would have taken the safe route, I would not have this podcast. You and I would have never met in Belize. No way. No way. All of these things are designed and conspire for you, for your benefit. And it's sometimes hard to see when you're in the thick of things because it's frustrating. But I think that's when you just detach from the outcome and just kind of let go a little bit and pause and express gratitude for whatever situation's happening. That's when you experience that like personal freedom, don't you think?
Yeah, literally love that you said that, and this is more confirmation of how aligned our mindsets are. Is because just taking that moment and then stepping back into gratitude.
Yeah.
That is the best medicine. Literally just breathe, take a moment to pause, reflect, be appreciative, and then you can move forward from there. I think that that's such a healthy foundation, and we're all in our own place of that inner growth, and that's okay too. So it's also learning to have that self compassion and grace with the unfolding too. I think I have been so funny. My dad, the two main lessons he would always give me, it's like stay humble, be patient. And as a child, I was just like ready for everything. But I think, actually developed those qualities over time. But I still have some essence, and things take their time. And usually, when you have the belief that everything is happening for you, that delayed gratification or that delay makes it so much more beautiful. And even speaking to you, sharing personally, just like your story, I feel like I was ready to be doing all of this like 6 years ago when I was in Miami building my career. And it's almost like I went into time travel. I moved back to Atlanta, did my doctorate of chiropractic. And now all those opportunities and all those pieces that I had worked so hard for that I felt I was ready for, it's all coming to fruition now. But it's so much more beautiful. And I think that I have developed so much to appreciate it a lot more, and that's where it's just that trust, surrender, and to just keep showing up.
Keep showing up, absolutely, and that impatience quality must be another quality for us youngest, because my mom always said, "You're so impatient, you're so impatient."
Yeah.
But it's a good quality as an entrepreneur to be impatient at times, right? So it's all about that balance,
Yeah.
right? I love that. Well, what a fantastic conversation. I'm so glad we got a little extra time. And I'm so grateful for all of your wisdom, for your energy, for you showing up, because if you didn't show up, other people wouldn't be inspired. And I think that's the lesson of it all, right? Show up, inspire someone else with your story, and just know too that your beliefs create your reality for the better or worse. So why not choose the better? I think that's it, right? That's the key to life. Thank you so much for being a guest on this show, Dr. Shirazi. And thank you for everyone who tuned into this episode of Grasp Confidence. Guys, don't forget to follow on your favorite platform and leave us a review on Apple. I read each one personally and love them all. We will see you on the next episode. Take care.